You don't have your shovel, do you?
And Greg, where's Greg? Greg here, of course, got to give you the filmmaker pin. All right. There's a big group here. So we have the filmmakers I see at the end, and as well members, again, a story like this really rests on some vivid characterizations of a terrific cast. So we'll start, I mean, I know who this guy is, but we'll start with Ryan and make our way down to the end. Just introduce yourself and the character your role in the film.
I'm Rye, and I played Sam.
I'm Ellie. I played Celia.
I'm Katie, and I played Rachel.
I'm William, and I played everybody's favorite, Charles.
Yeah, you know.
Hi, I'm Sarush, I played Nadir.
Hey, I'm Jason, I played Daniel. I'm Jojo, I played Roger.
I'm Greg, I played director.
I'm Noel, I was the production designer.
I'm Kat, I played one of the gatekeepers.
I'm Robin, I'm the production manager.
Gary, DP.
I'm gonna do a lot of like running back and forth with this group. I'll start with the film questions. I'm just gonna start with the director, writer as well. Just it's a fast, terrific story. And if you just tell us where kind of the beginnings of the idea that you have for Kingdom Come.
Actually, I guess we were talking, me and Jeff Hart, one of the other writers on this, were talking 5 years ago, and it was all based on, there was an accident that happened just outside of Windsor on the 401 that there was a 70 car pile up, and that's kind of where this whole thing the story started. We knew we wanted something supernatural and, religious based, and, 5 years later, here we are.
All right, and like I mentioned as well, terrific, really vivid characterizations from your cast here, and you cast very well. Looking at all your actors here. Sometimes there's a lot of films, especially genre films, where there's the idea of a lead and there's a protagonist and antagonist, and that it usually rests on those kind of tentpole kind of characters. But really, this is a true ensemble piece. So maybe just ask each of the actors to talk about what it was like working with each other as a group, because this was you going through the setting in the film as a group, but you also were working as a group as well as actors. So if you want to maybe talk what that was like, I guess we'll just start with Ryan. Go ahead.
It was great. I mean, like, one of the things we've mentioned a few times in some interviews and stuff is that with such a big ensemble cast, you sometimes expect some sort of drama or politics or posturing, and there was just absolutely none of that. So it's a quick sign of that that you're going to have fun working with these people, and that you can really go out there and have fun and really just do what you got to do and get it done.
Well, I know that as the youngest on set, it was often, I was always taken care of really well. It was great. We were all like a big family, always keeping each other warm, even though it was freezing in the hospital. So it really was great. Well, making sure, looking out for each other. It's a good thing to be able to have on the set.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was awesome, and the location was terrifying. It was an abandoned psychiatric hospital in the middle of nowhere. So we all comforted each other and didn't want to go anywhere alone. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Everyone was really nice.
I particularly liked all the ghost stories. We would try and scare each other. Not too bad, because it was a genuinely scary place to be in. It was pitch black, it was dark, it was cold, and it was an abandoned insane asylum. So, but we had a lot of fun joking around about things like that and telling each other stories about things we may or may not have seen. So that was entertaining, scary, and you always felt safe with these guys too. It was a lot of fun.
I think it was great. It was a difficult shooting location, but shout out to the Matchbox team. In all honesty, they made it very easy for us. We were a big team. Each person has a different personality, different needs on set, but they were all superstars, and they made it very easy. And I loved working with them, and definitely would like to work again.
Yeah, I just want to take the opportunity to say to the rest of the cast, I really love each and every one of you, and I thoroughly enjoyed killing each of you in very creative ways. And I would love to do it again in the sequel. But no, yeah, it was a great time. Such an amazingly well-organized set, given that the adversity of the cold and the size of the building that we were in. It should have been much more daunting, but for us actors, we could really focus on doing a good job with the text and with the extremely well-written text, which I'm grateful to have been entrusted with for Daniel.
Cool. I'm just going to echo the sentiments of pretty much everybody else because it's not much for me to say after that. Everybody enjoyed it. I've seen the film, I guess, I don't know, 3-4 times. I didn't really come here for that. I just came to see these people, so that's how good it was. Appreciate it, loved it.
Yeah, my hat goes off to the crew and this cast because the conditions were not, like they said, remotely reasonable for any actor. But yeah, they did a great job, and we're proud of what came out the other end because you really never know when you start these processes what this is going to be like at the other side. But my hat's off to all you guys, everybody.
Yeah, it's funny in answering just that general question I asked. A lot of people got into what was going to be my follow-up question, which was the incredible setting that you had. And it wasn't one of those things where sometimes you shoot somewhere and you dress up an office or a classroom or something like that, look like something else. This just looked such a very real-looking location, and the detail, the art direction. I think, I know because as actors, I think you work off things like costume and setting to kind of help get you in that mindset, and you had such a great luck in just creating it and finding it. So maybe just talk a bit more about how you got that location and made it to the hell of the film.
Yeah, we were looking for a variety of different places to try to find, and we were going to shoot it in London. They had an abandoned hospital there, and as the time went on, we slowly started to they started to, problem with old buildings is they tear them down, and so we were caught up in this red tape nightmare of an existing hospital wanting to control us. And then out of nowhere, Bruce Dinsmore, who was tearing down this ancient old building whose original name would set back political correctness 50 generations if we said it. So it was a really creepy place, and we were just so fortunate to go there. No power, electricity, heat, nothing. It was just this big 1 million square foot place. It was a hell of a mission.
10% of it.
And I gotta say, Noel and the set deck was phenomenal. I'm a photographer, and I went off wandering on my own, often with my camera wandering, and I was walking, and I saw these places. I'm like, this is incredible. Turns out they had shot there the day before, and I didn't realize. But the set deck was I was like, I can't believe things would be left like this. There's a wheelchair, and it's falling over, and everything. It's great, and I was just following after them, and the set deck was just incredible, just wonderful.
Here's our art director right here.
Yeah, I was gonna throw a question Noel's way. What was it like for you set decking this? And you slept in the building a few nights too, right?
Well, the building itself, because it wasn't heated, we would have to, we went in and did some tests and sprayed some stuff on the walls and found that it froze.
What was it called?
What?
The stuff we sprayed on the walls.
I don't know, what's it called, Noel juice?
Thank you.
Noel juice, yes. But we found that unless we heated the area, we couldn't decorate it. So then we had to bring in generators and heaters and stuff just to decorate an area. And then, but most of the stuff you saw tonight, a lot of those areas were pretty clean when we got into them. Like on our fan site, there's like pictures of the bathrooms and stuff, and you can see how they're just white tile before we get into them and started painting. And Neil, he's my painter, he's hanging out over there, but he did a tremendous job, and a lot of the time we had to turn around areas really quickly too, like so that we didn't have to heat an area twice. If they were shooting in an area in the morning, we would get the temperature up in there, and everybody would go for lunch, and then we'd spray in the afternoon, or we'd spray it while everybody was on lunch and get it decorated. And so what would happen would be they'd all come back, all the crew would come back, so everyone on the crew and cast had like mildew colored paint on their clothes by the time it was done shooting. So, but yeah, it was a tremendous place to get to decorate. Oh, I'll tell you one more thing, sorry. They were tearing it down, so we could do anything to it. So that meant if we wanted the ceiling to look like it was falling down, we just cut the ceiling out and pulled it down. So it was a pretty cool place to work. It was kind of a dream.
All right, so let's, any questions from the audience? Go right ahead. Yes, sir.
All right, so hello. Film looks great. Congratulations. One location, amazing. How did you shoot the car accident scene at the end? All these cars. Road.
Well, budget made the actual accident. That's why you didn't see anything other than a little bit of CGI rolling and cracked glass. But we just basically struck a deal with a local wrecker. We negotiated with the city to close down the highway. That was all Dwight's doing. All the red tape there, but they closed down a section of, what was it, Highbury Ave, which kind of looked like a highway. And we just had a wrecker. We struck a deal for a wrecker to kind of bring in all these freshly wrecked cars and just place them where we wanted them. And then, yeah, and just staged it from there. I think we had a total of, what was 24. 24 cars, and we made it look, kind of look like it was bigger than it was just by spreading them around, so.
All right, who else has a question? Any other questions? Yes, at the back.
Yeah, this is for Gary. Adam, were you supporting the local sports teams?
That's a trick question. I'd like to take the bait.
Remove him.
All right, who else? Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, just trying to think of one. Again, so talk about that with actors. What was it like kind of interacting with some of the location as they help you guys kind of get into character?
I can definitely attest to that one, I think. It was very, very cold in the building. They did as much as they could to heat, but the gatekeepers didn't have a lot of clothing. So it was very cold. They did a great job of making sure we were really well looked after. They tried to get it heated as well as possible. There was one basement location that they really struggled to heat. They did their best that they could. They had, lots of people with robes and helping us and getting us warm as quickly and well as possible, basically. But it was definitely a challenge and distracting for that reason while you're working, because there were points where I couldn't feel my feet. So, but it was great, and it was an awesome challenge, and it did make, I think, things a lot more authentic and real to be able to act in that environment. It just felt sort of more natural somehow. I don't know, anybody else?
I suppose the irony of my situation is that given that I was the character probably in control of the surroundings and what happened there, I was probably the most frightened out of the entire cast, because I think most of you guys went venturing around the building. I didn't. I generally stuck to the green room. But there was this one time, and I think I've told the story a couple times, so some of you will have to close your ears or whatever. But Camille and I, our Jessica, I had just gotten on set. And she and I had just met, and we were just chatting in one of the warmed rooms, and I was getting ready to go on and do my first scene. And so we were making small talk, and we started talking, of course, about the things that scare us. And we stumbled upon what our worst nightmares are. So I described to Camille my worst nightmare, and just as I was getting to the pinnacle of the storyline of my worst nightmare, the lights went out and the generator went out, and we were left in total pitch blackness 100 meters away from where the shoot was happening. So we were fine, it's the age of cell phones. We pulled out our cell phones, we used our flashlight app to make our way through. But as we were making our way through the hallways, I kind of felt lonely. So I reached, and this is without a word of a lie, I reached out to Camille and I said, "Do you want me to hold your hand? Are you and I did a really good job of making it sound like it was I was doing this for her, but I just wanted some company and to not feel like I was alone in an abandoned children's mental hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, there's a lot of times as actors you go on sets that are kind of built for you to kind of feel that environment, but in this case everything was there. When I was shooting my scene in a morgue, it was actually a real morgue. There was dead people in there probably 100 years ago, so it kind of makes it real and freaky, but it definitely helped to the character to kind of play it, yeah.
There was one other phenomenon that was happening during the midst of the shoot. You would randomly hear screams at any given time. Hopefully not in the middle of a scene or whatever. But I think the day that the power went on, I heard a very high pitched scream. I don't know if it was Jason or Camille. Then I know Billy played a few jokes, or we would go down ahead of people because we knew where we were going, and we just stand on the side of the hallway like this, and it was complete pitch black. So then when people would come walking by, you just either you didn't have to do much.
You pretty much just have to breathe.
I think you crinkled like a chip bag or something like that.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just wanted chips.
And there was one specific scene. It's the scene where I'm following the blood trail into a room, and there was a hole in the side of the wall, and I had to like light the lighter and look inside. There wasn't supposed to be anything in there. I was just kind of looking around. And I like get closer and I peek in, and Madison is inside there, looks at me, she goes, "Boo!" I almost killed over. Like I think I might have screamed. I can't remember, but.
Okay, I've just been told we have time for one more question. One more question. Anybody? Going once? Bueller? Well, I guess Greg, the old last kind of question. What's next? What's next for you?
We got two things on the go. We have a film called Cheat that we're probably trying to do for next summer, but over the winter now we're going to do a sci-fi, currently untitled, probably for the next 4 months, off and on, and see what comes out of that. But yeah, so we got multiple projects in the pipe. So
Excellent. All right. Very good. Well, thank you again to the crew, to the terrific cast of Kingdom Come. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today.